Greetings and welcome to this review interview of the exchange program that happened for Sheppa and Agnes and so forth, who spent 6 months in Europe at Fontys University, which is one of our partner universities here at Northrise University in Ndola. I'll just ask them in under a few minutes to just introduce themselves, and then we'll get this interview running. Welcome.
Thank you.
In under just a few seconds, just tell us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so my name is Agnes Insofwa. I'm 21 years old, and in my third year doing Bachelor's of Law here at Northrise University, and I live in Chingola.
Okay, and my name is Sheppa Kalunga. I'm studying Bachelor of Information Technology in Web and Software Development. I joined Northrise University in 2019 during the July-August intake, and I'm from Luansha.
Thank you very much for that short, brief introduction. October 22nd, Friday, 2021, you were notified that you had been accepted in the Erasmus program. And this program was a part and parcel of the social enterprise program that you are a part of. You're also peer leaders at Northrise University, and Sheppa here is also a member of the Student Council under academics. Can you tell us in just a few words what your thought process was when you found out that you had been accepted in the program and that you'll be spending 6 months in Europe and studying at Fontys University?
Okay, so personally for me, I was really excited because one of the things that really attracted me to Northrise University was when I read through the website and it talked about student exchange program. So when I was accepted, it was like, yes, it's been done. What I was, attracted to has come to pass.
Okay. Sheppa?
Okay, so for me, it came as an exciting news, I can say, because going to Europe anytime soon wasn't something that I ever thought about. Mm-hmm. So even the time I could share it with my family and my friends, it is something that brought joy in me.
Okay. And before this trip, had you guys ever been outside Zambia, outside Africa?
For me, I've never been anywhere outside Zambia, so it was my first time going out.
And Agnes?
Okay, so for me, I've been outside Africa. That was when I was 4 years old. Okay. And then also outside Zambia. When I was in grade 11, I went for a trip in Zimbabwe and Namibia.
Okay. And so given that background, how did you guys prepare for this trip? What was the thought process? You're now going to be spending 6 months in Europe at Fontys University, which is one of the premier universities in the world. What was the preparation like? What was going through your mind when you thought, goodness, I've been accepted now, and I'm going to be spending 6 months at Fontys University? How did you plan?
Okay, so for me, I had to also look into the weather, if I have to carry warm clothes or not. And then also I just had to prepare myself mentally because one, I was going very far from home and I'm really used staying home with my parents. So it was another step forward to do something new.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Getting outside the box.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so during the preparations, first thing first, I took time to browse through about what Netherlands is all about so that I can at least have an overview about where I'm going. Then besides that, there were some steps that needed to be taken into consideration, looking at the aspect of passports, collecting the visa. So it was a bit of a challenge in the first place on my side because I never had a passport by then. So I started making those arrangements. Then we also started the preparation of getting our visa, of which it was unfortunate that we did it in Zimbabwe because here in Zambia we couldn't get it anywhere because we do not have the embassy. So it was another journey that we took going to Zimbabwe, and it was something that was it was challenging, I can say, because going in a foreign country, for the first time wasn't something that was easy. But by the mercy of God, we managed to pull everything out, and everything worked perfect.
Okay, that was great. So you had like a crazy time trying to, prepare your classes, get enrolled. Had to travel to Zimbabwe for a visa. I remember we had that conversation about how the trip went. A bit chaotic here and there, but God saw you through. And so everything's ready. And now I remember we escorted you to the airport with your parents, met your lovely parents who were extremely excited that you guys were going abroad and you had this amazing opportunity to just go out there for exposure as well as just, get into a new environment. So we escorted you guys to the airport, hugs and all, plane takes off. What does the next 48 hours look like now? So you're now just the two of you. Northrise has done its part. Fontys is waiting to, receive you in Venlo. What happens in the next 48 hours?
Okay, in the next 48 hours, from the time we took off from Simon Mwansakapwepo International Airport, it was joy at the same time not knowing what is coming next, because we took that journey going to Europe. We never knew what to expect where we are going, and what was most unfortunate was that the person who was supposed to pick us was miles away from the airport. So moving from the airport to the city called Venlo, where we were staying, it was something that was constantly in our minds because we didn't know how to move and how to go about it. So we could think about it almost the entire 48 hours. Yeah. So we took off at Simon Mwansakapwepo around 16:30, and we were connecting through Kenya in Nairobi.
Okay.
Yeah. So we had to have a stop in Kenya for about an hour so that we can catch up the next flight, which unfortunately was delayed by some few hours. So by 23 p.m., we started off to the Netherlands, and we arrived in the morning.
All right, Agnes, so you've touched down at Amsterdam and now you have to make your way to Venlo. What happens?
Okay, so now we had to get onto a train, and before getting into a train, we had to get tickets, and it was a challenge because we could not speak Dutch, and most of the people were speaking Dutch, and of course other people were speaking English, but then everything explaining, but we're not really understanding, and now we had to get our phones and then begin searching as well as talking to the buddy that was supporting us in the travel. Okay. But I think one thing that I can say that it was challenging. Okay. Yes, but the good part is that we did not miss the train, and we arrived at the same place where we're supposed to arrive, and the person who was supposed to get us was already there.
That's great. Okay, and then you made your way to your apartments. Where were you staying? Where were you staying for the next 6 months?
So I was staying in one of the student apartments in Delos. It's called Delos, just near Fontys, 15 minutes. 15 minutes? Yes, from Fontys.
Okay, Sheppa?
For me, I was staying at Carpe Diem, which is 5 minutes away from where Agnes was.
Okay,
yeah.
So not too far apart.
So
the tag team continues.
Yeah, it wasn't so too far apart. Yeah.
All right, that was great. And your roommates, what was the living situation like? Just tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so in terms of living with other students, I wouldn't say there was much difference with how it is here in Zambia. So we related so well, and in the apartment where I was, we were living the three of us. One guy was from Japan, the other one was from Mexico, and myself from Zambia. Okay. So we understood each other properly, and we could do certain things together. Yeah, and one of the most exciting things I did for them, which they remember up to now, is that I had to prepare them our traditional meal, of which they enjoyed, which is Shima.
Really? Where did you find millet meal in the Netherlands?
Yeah, it was all over supermarkets.
Really? Because now I just envision you in the supermarket with a 25 kg millet meal bag.
No, it wasn't that big.
Okay.
Yeah, they put it in small packs, like 2 kg size. Yeah.
Did you do a good job? Did you represent us well?
Yeah, I represented you.
You cooked it right?
Yeah.
All right, that's perfect. Agnes, how did it go for you?
Okay, so it was interesting for me because I've always wanted to interact with someone from Israel. Yes, because it's just something that I love about the Jews. Yeah. So she was actually a Jew. and then the other one was from Mexico, and then the other one was from Hungary within Europe. So the difference in cultures was really interesting because we were learning different things from each other. And for them, it was even more exciting because I was from Africa, and they've never gotten like more information about how Africa is, how we look, and how we do things. So it was even more exciting for them to see me that I'm from Africa and I'm from Zambia.
Okay. Very, very exciting stuff. So now let's get to the school part. Tell me about your first day at Fontys. Tell us a bit about Fontys. Like, what were your first impressions? How was it?
The first time we arrived in Netherlands, we were already a week behind. So we missed the orientation aspect. And so the time we had an opportunity to be in campus was a week after, because our first week when we reached Netherlands, we did everything online. So we never had the chance to interact with other students or see staff members or just even seeing the school itself. So it took us about a week in between for us to be within the premises of Fontys University. And the first day we reached Fontys, it was, it was just normal, like as it is just at Northrise. Yeah, and the good thing about the infrastructure is that wherever you want to go, everything is tagged. Like you'll be able to know which direction you have to go to. And so navigating around the classes and other offices wasn't something that we really had a challenge with.
Okay. That's pretty good. Were those the same impressions that you had? What was your first impression of Fontys when you were there?
For me, it was that the environment is so international because I met different people from different countries within Europe and also outside Europe.
All right. That's pretty good. Okay. And given the short explanation, of course, that you've given, how similar or different do you think Fontys University is from Northrise University?
I think one of the things that was different was in terms of the projects that they were doing, and then most of the courses had to do with doing things together, not more of doing things individually like the way Northrise is. So that was also another good experience for me because I had to learn to work in groups more than I work here at Northrise.
Okay.
Yes.
In terms of similarities and differences between Fontys and Northrise University, one of the similarities that I noticed was the academic calendar that we use. They also use the 16 weeks calendar kind of. Yeah, then the difference was that in terms of exams, for them it takes a month due to population that they have because there are a lot of students. Then another difference that I saw was the exam setup, where you have open book exams and closed book exams. So for open book exams, these are exams where like students were allowed to go with textbooks. You could go with laptops to write your exam. And for closed book, it was just the normal exam, just like it is here at Northrise University.
Okay. All right. I like that you've already jumped into the academic component of this interview. So maybe just elaborate a bit more on the classes that you guys took, and how did those classes go? What was the feel of it, and which ones were your favorites? And maybe you can also tell us on how many courses you took for the semester you were there.
Okay. So during our stay in Netherlands, we were under a minor in international business. So this was a minor which encompassed a lot of international students. So we had almost a representative in every country within the European Union, which was present in that minor. Then the courses which I had 5 courses, among which was internationalization strategy. We had a seminar in European culture and clusters. Then I also had marketing. I had sustainability in European business. Then I had fresh supply chain and logistics. So these were the courses that I had. And I really loved sustainability and marketing among the 5 courses, because sustainability for me, it was something like really new, despite hearing it here in Zambia. But that side, I got a chance to learn more about sustainability, and I could witness how they are applying it in their day-to-day life. Then on the aspect of marketing, it's, I can say I just love business, and so I would learn a lot of models, strategies, and other things that you can incorporate within an organization or a business setup in order to boost your business.
All right.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff. Agnes, classes?
Okay, so the classes that I took, one was cross-border development, the other one was marketing, the other one was European law and economics, and there was marketing, we had it in common.
Yeah, we had it
Yes, we
together,
had
yeah.
marketing in common, and the last one was the main project, which was the internalization project. And I think among all the courses that I had, I loved European law and economics because I wanted to know more about the laws in the Netherlands and also what a person who's coming from another country would actually contribute in their country if they want to work there. Okay. So that was really interesting for me because I want to work in Europe in future. Mm-hmm. So it gave me more details of what I should do if I want to work there.
Okay.
Yes.
Understood. Thank you very much for those responses. What academic resources were at your disposal during your studies? What tools did you utilize? What academic aids were made available to you by the institution?
Okay, so there were a lot of resources that were available, starting with the school library, which was available 24/7 to every student who needed access to those resources which were there.
So when you say 24/7, what does that entail? The library was physically open?
Yeah, it was physically open. You can go there anytime.
Okay.
Yeah. Then the other thing was computer labs, which were also available to all the students. Then they also had just spare laptops, which they could give to students who were having challenges, or rather who never had laptops. Calculators was another thing that was provided to students, but you can use it for a specific period of time, then you can return it back after you are done. So such were the resources that were at their disposal. Then not also forgetting about the buddy program which they have, where every international student was assigned a person who can at least help them navigate through the Netherlands. And whenever you're having a challenge, either academically, socially, you can interact with such a person and they will always be there available to give aid.
Okay, that's great. That's great to hear. Agnes, anything that Sheppa might have missed in terms of academic resources?
Okay, so one of the resources that amazed me was that they had these small rooms that were noise-proof. So that means if you don't want noise, you don't totally want noise, you would sit in that room and you will not hear any noise. And that was amazing because the school is so big, and they had to think of a way so that students can actually study without getting any noise from anywhere.
Okay, that's very, very nice to hear. In terms of extracurricular activities, what did you guys engage in? What did you do away from the academics? Of course, this falls under the umbrella of the institution, of course. Were there clubs that you engaged in or social activities that you engaged in? What did the life of a student at Fontys University look like away from class? Okay,
so the international department at Fontys University had this amazing program, which they called the Global Lounge. So in the Global Lounge, there was a lot of activities that were happening there specifically for international students. So it was a platform where we could meet together, talk, have chats, network, and make friendships from all walks of life. So that was amazing on my side. And the other thing was they organized some trips specifically for international students, or rather specifically for those who were doing a minor in international business. So among which was a trip to Belgium, where we had an opportunity to visit the EU headquarters. Yeah, so we went to the European Museum, the European Parliamentarium, and so such were events that were organized by Fontys.
Okay, that's nice. Agnes?
And I think just to add on, some of the activities that they put, they would ask students from different cultures to actually show us what they do in their country or their culture. So that was interesting because I had to see what Chinese do in terms of how they make their tea, and also how some of the European countries make food.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And how was your experience when you went to, was it Brussels? You went to Brussels?
Yes.
How, just under a minute, how did that experience go?
It was great for me. I had to physically see what I was learning in my history back in high school, the history of the European history. I had to see everything physically, see. It was amazing because I would see it there, not just reading it in books. So that was amazing.
Yeah, but I wouldn't add much on what Agnes has said. Yeah, so the experience is mutual.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So given what you've experienced now, how do you think Northrise University and Fontys University can continue to foster and grow this relationship that has already been developed? How can we continue to complement one another as partner institutions?
Okay. One thing that can help us is building strong relationships between Northrise and Fontys University, and building more programs besides the student exchange program that can at least help the two institutions to remain in contact regularly. I think that will really help us. So one of the directors for the student exchange program, Mrs. Michelle Green, while we were with her, she mentioned something like maintaining the same exchange program between Northrise and Fontys University in the next 10 years. Okay. So it is something that they are pushing to the Erasmus program. The Erasmus program is it is an organization under the European Union which helps to sponsor students to learn extracurricular activities and equip them just for the corporate world. So they are pushing for that, and once that comes into and once that gives a positive feedback, it will both benefit Northrise as well as Fontys University, because along the way, we shall also begin to receive other students coming from Fontys University to Northrise University.
Definitely. I think that would be great. Agnes?
I think what Sheppa has said is good.
Totals it up, doesn't it? Yes. All right. That's good to know. That's good. Now we can only hope that those plans, of course, come to fruition, and I think this would be something that, of course, strategic partnerships here at Northrise University will foster in collaboration with the Student Life Department. So away from school, so the semester's going, you've got your academics going on, you've got your social life. What did you guys do over the weekends? I don't want to believe that you were just reading and studying in your apartments. What were you doing in your free time?
So I think me and Sheppa, we had planned out some activities just for us to actually see other places. So we would plan maybe on Friday, and I think one of the activities that we did was to go to Amsterdam, and we went on the boat cruise, which was so interesting. So I can say most of the activities we planned together and we went for them.
Okay. That's cool. Sheppa, anything that she's missed apart from the boat cruise and the
Yeah,
trip to
so
Amsterdam?
during our free time, we sometimes used to go to church as well. Yeah, because we found a church that was close by where we could go and fellowship there. Yeah, and some of the activities, yes, as she has mentioned, were mostly centered on sightseeing, seeing new places, visiting new places, and yeah. I can't add any more.
All right. I like that you mentioned that you continue to go to church even when you went there. Would you remember the name of the church?
Yeah, it was a Free Gospel Church. Okay. Yeah, which is a Pentecostal church. Okay. Yeah.
And how was the experience there? How was the worship and prayer experience there compared to the churches you go to here in Zambia?
I think for me it was just the same, because the songs were just the same, and the word of God, the way they were teaching the doctrines, everything was just the same. So I didn't even feel like out of place. It was just like I'm in the same church but a different country.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
In Netherlands, Christianity is actually low because by statistical, it's like 3% out of the entire population, which is a population of about 17 million people. And I can say most people do not really pay much particular attention to when it comes to religion. And atheism is something that is so prone, and most people, yeah. But away from that, our experience at Free Gospel Church was just okay. And people welcomed us very well. And we were free to say whatever we wanted. And they were always there to give help to us.
Thank you very much for that feedback. Did you guys ever get homesick? What about home did you miss? You can't say you didn't miss us. I'll be very offended.
Okay, for me, during our 3rd month, I think that was around April, yeah, I really missed home.
Okay.
Yeah. Looking at the days that were remaining for me to return and stuff like that, but I still understood the situation because there is nothing that I could do about it, but rather I had an alternative of keeping in touch with my family, my friends, and I could communicate with them almost every day. Okay. So that gave me a feeling that there are people somewhere who care about me, people are thinking about me, and it gave me peace within.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Agnes?
Yes, so I was homesick for a month. Yes, because it was, it was first of all very cold when we just arrived. And then when we arrived, of course, we didn't know each other in the house, so everyone would be in their room. And even if you wanted to talk to someone, so because of that, I missed home a lot. But then after I got to see Free Gospel Church, going to church and them visiting me, sending me texts, so that really encouraged me and made me to feel even more at home.
That was great.
Yeah.
And the good part is at least you had each other there. Yeah. You weren't alone. What obstacles now, looking at the trip itself from an overview perspective, what challenges and obstacles did you experience during your entire stay that you might point out?
So one of the challenges were the courses that were taken, because everything was new and I had to learn everything from scratch. And then the other challenge also that I had was to do with the transport system, because that side, everything is on time. If you say you're going to be there if they say you're supposed to be there at 8 and you go there maybe 2 minutes away from that time, then probably you find the train has gone. So I think those were one of the challenges.
No Zambian time.
Yes.
When we say it's 10 a.m., it's 10 a.m. Perfect. Sheppa?
When we went there, it was like we were babies, learning everything from scratch. Okay. Starting from transport, shopping, everything was just new. Especially looking at the fact that we are in a land which was a Dutch land, where a majority of people could speak Dutch. So there was also a language barrier from time to time, but it was easy whenever you find someone who is speaking English and you would communicate like that. Then, despite that, the other challenge that we faced was on the financial aspect of our program, which was the Erasmus program. Yeah, because there were some miscommunications, I can say, between the sponsors and the schools which were involved. But with that being said, everything was rectified by the people who were there. And it moved smoothly, but those were the challenges that we faced during our first stay.
And how do you feel that this experience has impacted you as an individual? Maybe we can start with Agnes.
Okay, so first of all, for me, I feel like it has made me to understand myself more and also look at the strengths that I have and also the talents. Because one thing that amazed me was that I met a certain man called Mr. Howard. He actually has a company that deals with presentations, so he's a presentation coach. And the first day that we met and we talked, he spotted a lot of talents in me that I didn't think I had. And, we discussed, we talked about a lot of things. So that helped me a lot to know that I'm actually the best that I can. And also, I can do a lot of things with what I have. So it really opened my mind to see more than that, what I see about myself. And that was, amazing. Yes.
Okay. Sheppa?
So this whole trip has impacted me a lot. Looking at the fact that right now I can proudly say that I can go anywhere around the world. Yeah. Then looking at the academic side of it, the knowledge and the wisdom that was impacted in me, it is something that is so much valuable, because the goodness about investing in knowledge is that no one can grab it away from you.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is something that will forever remain imprinted on me, and that will really help me even as I journey through my career.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now that you're back home, you're back here in Zambia, you're back at Northrise, your studies continue, of course. How will you use this experience to positively impact, your fellow students, your community, your country, and of course give back? So how do you feel that you'll be able to make an impact back home?
As I earlier told you, I discovered certain strengths in me, and I will begin using them, of course, with also his help, because we discussed certain things about the presentation company that he has, so that we can actually begin doing what he's doing in the Netherlands to bring them in Zambia. And because I was the only Zambian that he met, and he saw what I can do, so those are one of the things that I'll actually bring in my country and also help people. Yes, to do with having confidence, speaking in public, and just being the best that you can.
That's great. Yes. That's great to hear. Sheppa?
One of the things that I would love to impact my fellow students, especially here at Northrise University, is about the knowledge that I learned, especially in a course called Sustainability, which I did. I'm so glad that we've got Climate Change Club here at Northrise University, and I think and I feel that's the best platform where I can pour out everything that I have for them. And right now I discussed with the president of the same club, and I'm willing to give a presentation to them about sustainability and how they can apply it starting from the individual level, business level, up to the global level. So I'm willing to share what I learned to other students here at Northrise, yes.
And what advice would you have for students who are interested in applying for the same, the same program that you guys were a part of, and that accorded you the opportunity to, of course, spend time at Fontys University?
Okay, so the encouragement that I can give them is that, yes, it is a wonderful opportunity, or rather experience, to go outside the country. But then there's something that you should always keep in mind, is that nothing comes easy. As it may look good to everyone that, yes, we went and we did that, but there were some things, some other challenging things that came across as we did everything. So it takes for someone who is courageous enough, someone who is bold enough to do certain things, and above all, someone who has got self-control. Because there is a lot of pressure, or rather, let me just say peer pressure, that they'll be exposed to. Things that you just used to hear, things that you just used to see, you begin to see them in reality. Mm-hmm. And so how you respond to it again matters at the end of the day. So my encouragement to them is that, yes, an opportunity can come, you may go there, and whatever may come along the way, you should always reflect on why you are that side. You should always reflect on that, because once you forget the reason why you are there, then nothing will work out. Yeah, so you should always remain focused and achieve your goal.
So my encouragement to my fellow students is, one, is that they have to first of all have a good GPA, because as much as this opportunity is open to everyone, but it's also open to people who are hardworking. And secondly, they have to have a good character. They have to be principled. Because one of the things that I saw in the Netherlands is that that country, a lot of things happen, and if you're not principled, you don't know where you're coming from, you're not understanding what's happening, you just find yourself drinking, smoking, even when you did not intend to do so. So they have to maintain a good GPA, they have to be principled and know why they are going there, and not forget also where they're coming from.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much for that overview. And so, after all is said and done, you know, you've had this wonderful experience, met different people, engaged with different stakeholders. You're now back home, school is running again. You know, we've started our semester, very busy semester, we're rushing towards the end. What does the future look like for you now that you're back, moving forward with your studies, moving career-wise?
Personally, I feel like now I can see clearly what I want to do. And also the people that I met there were still in contact, and we're still talking about various things that we need to work on. And so I know that even though I'm in Zambia, but things will keep on moving in terms of some of the people from the Netherlands coming into Zambia and discussing the way forward in certain projects that we want to do with them.
That sounds great.
Yes.
Yeah. So for me, I feel this was a step towards my goals. Yeah, because as we walk through life, there are a lot of things that are lined up, which when you experience them, they will either draw you near your goals or they will push you back. So for me, I felt this opportunity pushed me forward, achieving my goals. And whatever things I experienced, the friends that I made, the knowledge that I was impacted by, it is something that will prepare me for the corporate world.
All right. Yeah. That's great. Thank you very much for that feedback. So as we close now, what was the major highlight of this experience, and what are you thankful for?
Okay, to start with, I would love to thank Northrise University for giving us this wonderful opportunity. Northrise University, through the strategic partnerships, of course, for giving us this opportunity of going to the Netherlands. And I would also love to thank Fontys University, specifically the international department, for the love, care, and support that they showed us while we were at that side. And just to thank our families for the support they gave us, the prayers that they prayed on us, and our friends who were always in contact with us, encouraging us, and sharing laughter with. So we are all thankful to all of them.
All right. Agnes?
First of all, I'll just have to thank God for giving me this opportunity through Northrise University. And I think the highlight of the whole experience is just getting to know, me more, because there are certain things that I didn't know about myself, but after going there and coming back, I've learned a lot about myself, and I think that will also really help me in doing other things in life.
Thank you very much. We've come to the end of our review of the exchange program that you guys, of course, were a part of. And I just want to thank you very much for making us proud here at Northrise University, for going to represent Northrise University and Zambia at large very well. I think from the reports that we've so far gotten, you guys were very diligent in the way that you presented yourselves, in the way that you engaged with one another, the interactions that you had with staff, faculty, and students there. And so we're very happy that you went well and that you've come back well and that you've spent time to just come through for this interview and give us just a brief overview of what happened. So thank you very much for coming through, and we look forward to seeing what you will do to make an impact back on campus as you speed towards graduation, because you are senior students. So here's a fist bump to you. Well done. Well done, and thank you very much for coming through. We were having a conversation with Sheppa and Agness, who spent 6 months in Europe under the Erasmus project in conjunction with Fontys University and Northrise University under the Student Life Office and the Strategic Partnerships Office. It's been an amazing time with them, just hearing how their experience was. And moving forward this semester as to 2022, we actually have Chobe Mulea and Chimba Malisawa heading to Fontys University as well for another 6 months, so just look out for that. Thank you very much for spending time with us, and dare to soar.